If you've ever thought about buying a condo right here in Destin, Florida, this is the video for you. Today we're going to show you 3 different condos in 3 different price points, starting at just $250,000 and working our way up to show that you guys can make money on every price condo right here in Destin, Florida. We are sitting in the lobby of a $1.8 million condo that we're going to show you. But before we get to this one, let's start with our lowest price one to show that you guys can still make money even at a $250,000 price point right here
in Destin.
Let's go.
So we are at Indian Lakes Condos. This is a 1-bedroom unit right around 650 square feet, listed at $250. And we wanted to say thank you to the Emerald Group at LPT Realty for this beautiful listing. So let's take a look around and we'll meet you back right here. So another way you can trade up on your investment is how you rent it. So there's 3 different kinds of lengths of rentals, if you will. So there's short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Short-term is your dailies, your weeklies. Mid-term is your monthlies, and long-term is anything over 6 months. They all have their benefits and their pros and cons, that kind of stuff, and they can all make different kinds of money for you. This particular unit, you can do all 3 of them, and it would make good money either way. This owner is currently grossing about 34 to 36 a year, which for a price point of $250, that's amazing. So come get it, come buy it.
As you guys will see with some of our condos later, they're not all necessarily hitting that 10 cap, as we call it, which is generally kind of like the metric that we like using whenever we're helping our clients with finding something when investing is their number 1 priority. Now, sometimes we're okay going a little bit less on that 10% rule, right? 250,000, we expect 25,000 or more, anything above that's good. If you're doing other things with it, right? So like if your main intent is to enjoy living in the place, like then the money it's making is not as important. It's still a factor, but not always as important because we want to be emotionally vested.
Yep, and that's one reason why this owner is currently making so much, because they don't use it. It's literally just their cash cow.
And that right there is actually a really good thing that we weren't originally planning on talking about, but it just popped in my head. So that's actually one of the things that a lot of people don't look at. You know, they look at condos in one complex. Let's say maybe you stayed down here in Destin and you're like, hey, I really love this condo. Let's look at it. You'll see condos from the same price point with wildly different rental incomes. A lot of times that's because the owners are using it more. Maybe they're not renting it out as much. Maybe the property manager is not as good. There's a lot of factors that go into play here. And this is why you need a professional that knows the condo space and knows what they can see through the projections and actually give you realistic numbers based on past performance and what you plan on doing with it, not just what the best case scenario is.
Yep. So should we trade up? Should we go to the next one and trade up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. So we are at the Grand Caribbean East. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit, about 1,000 square feet, listed at $650. Take a look inside and we'll come right back. Our second tip for how to trade up your investment property is to use the rental income that you're getting on the unit for a DSCR loan.
So a DSCR loan is just purely going to use the rental income. So if you're worried that maybe, hey, my credit's not super great, hey, maybe I don't have the income, maybe I don't have, there's a bunch of little factors, but that's the main thing that a DSCR loan is instead of using your income and your credit score and things like that, which do play a little bit of a factor, but for the most part, they just want to see reserves that you can, basically fill in something if something were to happen. And then they're going to use a rental income of the property. So for instance, something like this is currently grossing how much?
Right around 52.
So 52,000, that's clearly going to cover all of the expenses plus some. So a DSCR loan would typically be a pretty easy thing to do in this realm. We do have lenders for you guys. If you guys are interested in that, we've got a phenomenal DSCR person, so you guys can always reach out to us. All of our information is on the screen. We can always help you with that, whether it's here or really anywhere we are. Our loan officer is good in all 50 states. But that is a really, really, really good option for stuff like this, especially if you're just kind of getting your feet wet and maybe you don't have the income that you need to be able to purchase something at this caliber. Cool. Let's go to the next one. $1.8 million. That's what we're about to go see. So let's go see what that's like, and we'll shut this one down.
We just got done showing you the Grand Caribbean, and we wanted to say thank you to us again. Yay! LPT Realty with the Iremonger Group. So we are at Silver Beach Towers. This is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom unit that's 1,900 square feet, listed at $1.85 million. So we're going to take you around and we're going to meet you out on the balcony. Let's go.
Are you guys ready for the $1.8 million balcony? Because let's be honest, that's what you're paying for here.
Yep.
Let's go. First and foremost, we want to thank Premier Property Group for letting us see their beautiful listing. As you guys saw, that $1 million, $1.8 million view. This property currently grosses anywhere from $87,000 to about $92,000 per year. So if that's the kind of rental income you're looking for, this is a good example of that.
Absolutely. So one of the things we wanted to talk about, which is our last and final tip of how you can trade up, is a 1031 exchange. So it's pretty simple. It's a way to take your profits and move it into another property without having to pay taxes on them, at least right then.
Yeah, so a great tax deferment program taxes, as we know, especially for us investors, are always it just kills us, right? So this is a great way to push those off until you're completely done. You keep going up, you keep going up. That's what it is intended for, so that it will help stimulate the economy a little bit more. For those of you guys that already experienced, you already know what I'm talking about. So let's go into the details for those that might not know what we're talking about.
So the rules, because there are definitely rules.
Yep.
So you have 45 days to identify any properties, 180 days to close. They have to be similar kind properties, but they do need to be a little bit more expensive. So you have to kind of like, so that's where that trade up comes into play. So if you've got a $250,000 property that you want to 1031 into a $650,000 property, that's kind of what you're looking at. And you can also have multiple properties that you're trading into, as long as they still meet that higher price rule.
So that's something that a lot of people do, right? Is they'll take something, let's say the last condo that we just looked at 650, they wanted to purchase something like this. Like, they already hit all the rules, right? It's like kind. It is an investment property that is getting vacation rental income, so that would be considered like kind. But let's say you have that 650,000 and you decided, you know what, I really like the rental income of that first one that we had, that 250,000. I'm going to buy 3 of those. Mm-hmm. You could absolutely do that on a 1031 exchange. Just keep in mind, you do have to still fall within all of those timelines.
So the only other rule is that it does have to be the same taxpayer on both properties, and you have to hold the property for 2 years before you can sell it. But other than that, easy peasy. Yeah,
so as long as you've held your last property for 2 years, if this is something, maybe you've got a vacation rental already and you're thinking, hey, can I move up and take advantage of this so I'm not, getting wrecked on taxes, then you can absolutely do that. And the last thing we want to leave you guys with, I hope that you guys stuck around for this really important portion, is we're real estate agents first. So if you are curious about purchasing down here, that's exactly what we do. We've got a specialist for everything in this area, from Pensacola all the way down to Panama City and everything in between. So if you're thinking about buying in this area and you need an expert for whatever field it is, whether it's residential, whether it's an investment, what have you, we've got somebody for you. So all of our information will pop up on the screen and you can reach out to us, and Miss Kristen will likely be helping you if you're looking at stuff like this. So I guess we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you later.